Took good time. Good morning. What do we got?
So Dorian's back the other day. Is he 100%?
Yes,
How do you look to you?
he looked good.
Yeah.
He looked good. So good to get him back out there and run around and throwing the ball and did some really good things the other day.
Are there any particular receivers he's really connecting with at this point?
I couldn't signal anybody out because he was unavailable for a couple training sessions. So we're just getting everybody back and getting in sync with everybody. But they're all doing a really good job out there.
Now that he's back, can you tell us what kept him out?
He was unavailable.
Figured I'd try.
I mean, we
Dalen
can
Hurt.
stop asking. The question's going to be the same from now until the end of the year. It's a school policy, so I'm not trying to be evasive, but I'm not allowed to say anything about anybody who's not available. So.
Dalen Hurt, Kay Madrano, are they available?
Kay Madrano is available.
Cool. Have you guys scrimmaged at all? And if so, anything
We've
pop
had
out?
officials here. We have them 2 days ago. We'll have them here again today, and then we'll have them one more time this year. So we'll have 3 sessions with officials. So.
Okay, anyone pop out?
No, I think
shine?
everybody's playing. It's a lot of situational work. And it's not put the ball down and just drive it and stay out here for 2 hours. Everything is a situational deal, whether it be a 2-minute situation, red zone, coming out, third down drills, all those different things. So we try to touch base on as many different situations as possible.
How would you compare what you've seen in those scrimmages to what you had in the spring?
I don't compare anything to anything. So, we're trying to get better on a daily basis here. So to think back about what happened last spring with this group and say, hey, where are they there? Because in the spring we're not preparing to play a game. We're doing fundamentals and trying to get schematics down and make sure we have the players in the right spots. So it's I've never thought of it that way to compare the spring to the fall.
With the days you have left of camp, what are the goals left to set before you start prepping for Hawaii?
Our goals are the same. So we've got one more week of camp, and there's a lot of fundamental things we have to get down. Most of all of our schemes are inserted, but it's a matter of repping them and then really identifying what our players do well. What are the strengths? What are we going to lean on a little bit more than some other things? Because we have the ability in our schemes to do a lot of different things, but you can't do them all. You have to do what's really fits the personnel the best. So as the personnel starts to shake itself out, what's the best way to use this person? What's the best way to use that person? And then as we get into next Saturday, we'll start to get into putting in a game plan for Hawaii and getting ready for that opener.
At what point do you kind of transition to that game week mode?
Next Saturday, so a week before the first game, so 7 days out.
With it being kind of a grind right now during summer, how do you keep the guys motivated? How do you get them, up to speed? Excited?
Yeah, I guess our kids love playing football and our guys love coaching football. So I don't think anybody out here thinks it's a grind. We're a get-to operation. We're excited that we get to come out here today and do something. So not a have-to operation. So it's I think maybe if it's just your mindset, if you have to do something, like if you have to cover this team, then it's probably going to be a grind for you. But if you get to cover this team, then it's not a grind for you. So, and that's the way our players feel about it, and I know that's the way our coaches feel about it. Is that we're blessed that we get to come out here and practice today. So we're excited about every day we get an opportunity to do that.
Something Coach Brian mentioned was that when you talk about experience, installs are kind of the same. You always start at base one, but because of the experience, you can kind of elevate past whatever that is normally, because they can learn all those bases easier. How did you kind of see that playing out during?
I just think
camp?
when you have a veteran group, which we do, they can handle things a lot quicker. Sometimes you really gauge your install just to pay upon the learner, and if the learner has grasped it in going through, for all these guys, a lot of these guys have been here 3 and 4 years, so it's not their first time hearing a concept, it's not their first time hearing a play call, so they can handle a lot more. So we've been able to install faster. So usually it may have taken you 5 days to get an install in. We could have got it done in 3 days. But that's just a credit to the players we have and the depth we have.
Does that mean you're able to add a little bit more?
Yeah, you just got to be
Designated?
conscious of that, because sometimes you can get too diluted. You also have to hone in on what do you do well and continue to work on that, because you can never get too many reps on something. So you can't say, hey, we've got that. I think when you have that, hey, we got that down pat, let's not worry about that anymore, then you're probably going to get beat. So we're always going to continue to harp on the fundamentals and the techniques, and those always need to be refined.
When you do that at that pace, is it harder for some of the younger guys to keep up with that pace, or is that where the players kind of step in?
The players have helped in that, but we also, we don't run the same plays with the threes that we run with the ones. So I think we're conscious as coaches, knowing what grouping's in there and what they can handle. So, you may go faster with the first group and a little bit slower with the third group. But that's always that's probably the way it is throughout the country. You got to be able to get things in and challenge your older veteran players, and we can do that while we're still bringing along the younger guys.
Now that you have experienced players, especially being a player-led team, is it much quicker to develop and get the knowledge to the younger guys, like maybe as opposed to 2-3 years ago?
I think the players obviously help in that. We've got some really good veteran leaders at each position that have done a really good job of taking the young guys out their position, kind of under their wing, and fostering a really good learning atmosphere for them, and kind of explaining it through their eyes, how they saw it, maybe some of the techniques and study habits that they developed since they've been here, and share those with those other guys.
We were talking to Quantrez last week about the karaoke you guys have been doing after practice. He said he wanted you and Coach Az out there. Is that
Yeah, I
happening?
want Q out there because Q hasn't done it yet either. So
He-
tell Q
he
to
did
stop
Kingston.
talking. But he didn't. No, he didn't.
Yeah.
He posted it on
His
social
video,
media.
there's proof.
He didn't sing the entire song. So we've already talked about that a lot. So
Okay.
we had a coach's representative, and it was Coach Foster and Coach Fry. So every group was represented.
If you end up doing karaoke at another time,
I will not end up doing that.
What would have been your go-to song?
There would not be a go-to song. So
What song did
know
Coach
your
Foster-
strength and know your weaknesses. So my strength in karaoke is listening. So
What song did Coach Foster and Coach Fry sing
I
for the coaches?
don't know the name of it. You'll have to check with them. I'm not sure exactly what the name
You know
is.
how it goes?
Do I know how what goes?
The song they sing?
No, that's why I'm not good at karaoke. That's why I'm a listener, not a singer. So,
Good try, Yeah.
yeah. All right, guys, that's a good one to end on.
Real quick,
We're
though,
good?
real quick, sorry. Just as far as linebackers go, you talked about the veteran presence. So, what are your older guys there doing for the younger guys?
All of our guys, no matter what position it is, have just done a really good job of helping teach the younger guys. So if you watch our guys when they're not in, they're not over on the sidelines BS, and they're over on the sidelines talking about what the call is, what their read may have been. How did you see that? What does that look like to you? Why would you make that decision? What decision would you make? So there's a lot of questions and answers that go on between our older and younger players, just to help them get up to speed. Because at some point in time, that younger player is going to have to line up next to that older player, and you just can't say, well, he's young and he can afford to not know what he's doing. We got to make sure everybody is on the same page when we get ready to play the opponents that we're going to play this season. Okay, thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys.